Let's talk today about spirituality. Spirituality is a common thread spread all over the world. You follow any religion, hundreds of religions are there. You can follow anyone. But when comes the question of spirituality, it is only one. You know, your body and soul are two different things. Once your soul departs from the body and the body becomes of no use. And here comes the question of spirituality. What is soul? And once you have this question, you become spiritual. So here we will be talking today about the book Mystics and Mistakes. This is composed and prefaced by Arundhati Subramaniam. She has compiled and organized the lectures by Sri Sadguru, who is the founder of Isha Organization. The main foundation is in Coimbatore, India, and other big cities are having their branches and centers of Isha Organization. Here in this, Sadhguru says, your five senses of the body and your science experimentation, they brings the limitness to the knowing, to the knowledge. If you want to know, if you want to grow, your soul wants to grow, then you have to go beyond the limit of five senses. Five senses granted to the natural body. Science always depends on five senses. Science wants to do experiments in the lab and establish what is true. Now this establishment is always recognized by five senses, not beyond that. Recently now, science community has started talking about more than five senses and beyond five senses. This book has been organized in 4 chapters and 2 appendices. In the 4th chapter, the first chapter says Beyond the Five Senses, from misunderstanding to mystery. Chapter 2 talks about the breaking the bubble, from limitation to the life. Chapter 3 is about Big Bang or the Roar, where physics meets the metaphysics. And 4th is God's miniature gods, the human being as cosmic library. This has been prefaced by the Arundhati Subramaniam, and she has compiled here in this book the lectures, the question answer session by the Sadhguru. Here the first chapter starts. Sadhguru says, 2 cows were grazing on an English meadow. One said, what is your opinion on the mad cow disease? The other said, I don't care about it. Anyway, I am a helicopter. Sadhguru says here the question of realization. If cow realizes that she is a cow, then it's question of realization. If somebody do not know what he is, who he is, and what for he is living, then realization is not there. If a cow realizes that it's a cow, it becomes a celebrity, a holy cow. It is that simple. It is just question of realization. We have always called mystics realize being. Realization is not about inventing or discovering something. It is just about realizing who you are. That is the realization. Therefrom the spiritualization starts. Mysticism. What exactly do we understand by the word? That which cannot be understood through logic usually gets termed as mystics or mystical or magical, which your five senses cannot correlate and understand. So it becomes mystical. Here at one place, the Sadguru says, when I say solution, the inevitable question is, do I have a problem? If I have a problem, then only we can discuss about the solution. The answer is yes, because whoever you are, you want to be little more than what you are. So here is the question, and then the solution discussion starts. So when that little more happens, you want to be little more than that. It is a problem, isn't it? So whatever you do not know today, you want to know more than that, or you want to grow more than what you are today. And tomorrow, what you will be, you want to grow more than that. So it's a problem. Sadhguru said, then where is the solution? So in the end, it says, you are attempting to become boundless. Now attempting to seek the boundless through the physical is a serious problem. Seeking that which is boundless or infinite through your physical nature is just like wanting to go to moon on a bullock cart, because your five senses given to you, granted to you by nature, are creating a limit around you, because each senses has a limit. Your eyes can see something and cannot see something. After the discovery of microscope or telescope, your eyes can see more than what they can see naturally. So that means the eyes do have a limit to see. And similarly, our other senses do have their own limits. So if you want to know the boundless, you want to grow beyond boundaries with the help of the senses, which themselves have the boundary. They cannot go, they cannot think, they cannot feel beyond the boundaries what has been given to them. So get yourself a new whip and you will get there. Believe me, you are not going to get there. You may kill the bulls, but you will not get there. So he is telling just example that if you are going on bullock cart to the moon, so even if you kill the bulls, it will not reach to the moon. This human system has come with a different kind of possibility as an instrument of perception. If you raise it in pitch, you will see it can perceive things in a completely different way from what people normally perceive for the sake of survival. So this is what he has written. Now why I am giving some readings from the book, that what Sadhguru has answered in reply of some questions, and that gives the enlightenment and answers to your own questions. The book title says, Of Mystics and Mistakes. Here at one place Sadhguru says, mysticism is like pure science. It has no use. Mysticism is just like the human longing to know. That is the science. Normally, why we use science? To know. Occult is not science. Occult is just a technology to perform something, to get something. It's a technology. Now, at one place, the question asked to Sadhguru is, most people perception spirituality is synonyms with certain paranormal powers. What is the difference between mysticism and occult? Sadhguru says one big problem is that mysticism and occult have always been mistaken to be same. In other countries, for example, there has never been any mysticism, but always people thought Native Americans were mystical. No, there have been occult practitioners who have heard of Native American shamans becoming wolves, becoming eagles, being in two different places at the same time. All this is occult. Actually, we have a much more sophisticated form of occult in India, particularly in South India. So if you come with cancer, it could just be gone in 10 minutes. But this is not mysticism or spirituality, this is occult. Or I could appear in two different places, this is occult, not mysticism. This is how he is trying to say what is different between mysticism and occult. When your intelligence, your knowledge, your thought, your brain, it stops thinking, and beyond that you refer to the God. At one place he says intelligence beyond logic is what you are referring to as God. In medical science, when they used all their known techniques and technology, now they say you refer to God and pray to God for your well-being. Because now my limit has come, the doctor will say, sorry, you go to God now only. So this is what he is referring here. The intelligence beyond logic is what you are referring to as God. So where your intelligence and logic fails, you refer to God, because still something is happening which is beyond your understanding, which you do not know. So that means beyond the knowledge and physical sciences and logic, there is something which is God. One place, again, he says, intuition is not a different dimension of perception. Intuition is just a quicker way of arriving at the same answer. So that is called the intuition, because you know something before it happens, or knowing it quickly. So that is intuition. In the chapter 3, that is Big Bang or Rover, you look inward, a different dimension opens. Now instead of things getting more complex, you get a clarity. That is looking outside, stop it, and look inside, inward. So your clarity will increase and complexes will reduce. The biggest problem is the moment you say spirituality, somebody starts talking about God, someone else about mukti, someone else about nirvana, and someone else about ultimate. They are all already up there. You cannot do anything with people who are already up there. If somebody is down here, you can do something with them. You can only take a step if your feet are on the ground. Is not it? If your feet are not on the ground, how you can take steps to go further? So once you have to be at ground to go further. The moment you talk about God, you are not here anymore. You know it. You can only start a journey from where you are. You cannot start a journey from where you are not there. So how can you start journey from somewhere where you are not there? So you can start your journey from where you are. If you are willing to come down to where you are, then we can see what the next step is. If you are already on the third step to heaven, what can I do with you? I can't help it. So he says, we have invented various instruments that are likely like third eye, enabling us to see things that we could not see with our naked eyes. Whether it's a microscope or telescope, there are all third eyes of science. They assist you in seeing that which you could not otherwise see. But by seeing microscopic life and by viewing the stars and galaxies, nothing significant has been known. Life has become more mysterious than ever before. So he is referring whatever science invented and discovers to solve the mysteries. It becomes more mysterious, it becomes more complex. If you know only 100 stars, you want to know more than that. And once you know 1000 stars, the things becomes more complex. So then how to progress? So science is not the way he intends to say that it is limited, because it depends on your senses and the experiments which are known and expected results are expected out of the experiments. But if you think beyond the galaxies, which is not known, which is mysterious, the more you unravel the scientific process, the more mysterious this world becomes. So at one place he says, when we say a spiritual seeker, unfortunately most people assume that he is God oriented. A spiritual seeker is not God oriented. If devil is the chief of existence, he wants to know that. We want to know what is true. If we are not interested in proving our belief system, because we don't have any belief system. So he wants to say spiritual seekers are not the God oriented. At one place, Sadhguru says, see, when we begin to question the very existence of the Creator, that means the creation is perfect. If every day it would not function without morning and evening prayers, then this would not be a perfect creation. This creation is so perfect that you can forget the Creator. You can just discard Him, dump Him, and still it goes on. So a true compliment to the Creator is when you forget about Him. That's a real compliment to the wonderful piece of creation He has made. It is so perfect within itself that it does not need to draw from anything outside. He is referring that a creation means human body and the galaxies and the entire natural system the Creator has created. And it does not require to run it that you pray morning and evening, then only it will run. Even if you forget, you dump the Creator, the God, the nature, and still it functions. That means the creation is so perfect that it does not require to draw anything from anywhere, and it is functioning perfectly. That means the creation is perfect and self-contained. It does not require your prayers, it does not require your any effort, or it does not require anything to draw from the Creator itself. It is working, it is functioning like that. At one place he gives Shiva and Shakti narration. Just we will read it. So as Shiva sleeps, Shakti comes looking for him. She wants him to come awake because she wants to dance with him. She wants to play with him. She wants to woo him. Initially he does not wake up. After some time he does. Anybody who is in deep slumber, if you wake him up, he will get a little angry. If you were in deep sleep and somebody came and nudged you, it would not matter how beautiful that person is. Here, Sadhguru is pointing out one instance of Shiva and Shakti. So as Shiva sleeps, Shakti comes looking for him. She wants him to come awake because she wants to dance with him. She wants to play with him. She wants to woo him. Initially, he does not wake up. After some time, he does. Anybody who is in deep slumber, if you wake him up, he will get little angry. If you were in deep sleep and somebody came and nudged you, it would not matter how beautiful that person is, you would get angry, isn't it? So he gets angry, roars and cries, and that is why his first form and his first name is Rudra. The word Rudra means one who roars. This is how he says the initiation of the nature system, the formation of creation. That is what he says, roar. The Big Bang theory, what people today refers to, that it's a Big Bang theory. Sadhguru says it is the roar of the Rudra. Here, Sadhguru wants to say in the chapter of God's miniature God, he refers that human body itself is a small form of entire galaxy, and you can refer it, its functioning, its collaboration, its assimilation, and you can understand the entire nature, the galaxies. He says, I said earlier, the scientific research, as more and more things are being discovered, things are only getting messier, not clearer. If you are interested in knowing life, that is not the way to know. If you want to use life, that is not the way to do it. Using life should not have been the goal of science, but right now, science is being funded and it is progressing in a way as if everything in the existence is here to be merely used by us. Whatever is available, use it. Whether it's your life, whether it's a tree, whether it's animal, whether it's any kind of energy, we want to know it, to use it. And Sadhguru said that is not the way of knowing and doing. So, we have learned to use everything, from the biggest thing like the planet to an atom or even a single celled animals. We even know how to use an amoeba towards our well-being. The larger part of science is aimed at learning how to use everything in the existence for our well-being. That means we want to use everything for our own interest, our own advantage, whatever is available in the surrounding and even beyond the distances. We want to use everything, and for that purpose we want to know and discover and invent. So this is the science we are doing today. The more and more you use everybody's life for your own well-being, you will see well-being is one of the things that will not happen to you. Everything else will happen, but well-being will not happen. So you will become more and more sad by using others for your own advantage. So here he wants to say that the science is discovering and inventing whatever which is not known today. We want to invent and discover, to know it. Why to know it? To use it. To use it for our own advantage. And that will not lead you to happiness, but to be sadness. This is what Sadhguru is trying to say here. So he gives the example also. Do you not see that just a few generations ago people were physically better than what they are today? Physically we were at our weakest today as a generation of people. Our numbers are increasing because all of us survived. We don't want to die. So we all want to survive to the beyond usability. We want all to survive. Even the 90 years and 95 years person will get a heart transplant and he wants to survive. And people want him to survive. So we use the science to survive for our own advantage. Our numbers are increasing because of all us want to survive. There is no natural selection. Because of vaccination and inoculation, hospitals, medical cares, all of us survive. So the population is increasing and the person is becoming weak and weaker. He says the earlier generations were better than today's generation. All those would have been nature's reject. All those people live now. He says the nature has rejected you, still you are living. So our population has increased, but physically we are definitely at our weakest. Never before have men, women been as fragile, as weak as they are today. 2 generations ago, people were strong because they had to do an incredible amount of physical activity every day. Today it is not like that. So human beings have become extremely weak, and he is telling correctly that we are going away from the natural system. We use heating system in the houses, cooling system in the houses, using the air which is normally naturally available. We want to convert the air in different forms for our own advantage and use it. So we are going away from the nature. Whereas the birds, the animals, they are nearer to the nature. They live with nature. We want to live away from the nature with the help of science. So friends, this is the book. It has got a lot of knowledge, discussion, understanding, explanations, many questions human beings have beyond their understanding. When you grow in your life, you have questions about your existence, about your creation, and this book will certainly help you to answer some of your questions, and you will be inclined to think in that way, to understand the nature, spirituality, and your own existence. I will recommend this book to the people who are the seekers. Thank you.